Dr. Abdi, my apologies. We left you sitting there and waiting too long. But you get to bring the evening round. We're thankful for that. Dr. Abdi is a Somali Canadian and Professor of International Development Education in the Department of Educational Policy Studies at the University of Alberta. Or he's also co-director of the Centre for Global Citizenship, Education, Research. His areas of expertise in research and teaching include international education, development studies, policy issues, African philosophies, and African epistemologies of life. Many of you know that word from your first year philosophy courses. Dr. Abdi, please join us at the front. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You are still here. That's wonderful. I was worried that most of you are already by now. But how could you go away when you had that music and those drummers and the speech we had and the speaking power of people like me and the excellent focus by my colleague and friend, Professor Oblam. I will be very brief, I promise. Maybe I will try to limit my talk to about 10 minutes. If I achieve that, that's fine. If I take a couple of more minutes, then I think you're going to forgive me. Sometimes people say, are we working on African time or on other times? I always ask, what's your preference? Choose one. I want to also say that we Africans actually, we dislike time. We dislike the pressure of time. We like time. We believe time is present, abundant, and available. But if you live in Canada and Edmonton, you'll be actually reminded immediately that it's actually very scarce, unavailable, and you have no time. So I'll try to. Yes, but first I want to thank Nile Foundation and African History Project. I want to thank Nikwani for his lead and excellent work in this area. And I want to also thank David Ridley from the Edmonton Heritage Council, which I think is an important council that can do so much for Edmonton and the people of Edmonton. I want to echo a couple of things very quickly. I believe that although my focus is actually a historical and contemporary Africa, a concise focus, and I want to just run through a few ideas very quickly. But before I do that, I also want to say Black History Month is very interesting. I like it. It's wonderful. I just want to create a note of caution, and I said that actually today when I was at the Africa Center. The mayor was there. Thank you for being here at this hour. Actually, it's been a long day, but I think it's the same thing for you every day. So, it should be actually the celebration of Black history, and not necessarily just in the Black History Month. Because actually we do create history as Africans 365 days a year. So it's something that's continuous. So just to say that. Because sometimes actually people say, is that the only month that Black history happens, whatever? And I say, no, actually, it's just a celebration. That's what it's about. I think I want to also say my focus will be on Africa, very quickly. But this is where we are now. This is where we should be from, as Peter and others have pointed out. This is our land. It's my land. It's our country. So we need to understand that and make that clear. And the African Canadian, the hyphen even doesn't mean much. We are here, and therefore, whatever we share is something that's fully Canadian, and we need to see it that way. Edmonton, actually, I was very happy to hear when the mayor said it's becoming the fastest multicultural city in Canada. I teach at the University of Alberta. Sometimes I teach classes to teachers who are going to school, work in the schools. And I always reminded them to understand, because I came here in 2000, and from my community, for example, the Somali community at that time, there were 500 people. Now they are up to 8,000 people. So in only 10 years, you have a number that's incredible. So actually, I tell these students, teacher students who are going to be teachers soon, that actually Edmonton is looking like Montreal and Toronto of the early 1990s. I was in Montreal for many years before I came here. And at one time, we counted 90 different languages in one school in Montreal. Actually now I'm hearing in Edmonton, they are counting 70 different schools, 70 different languages in one school. So it's becoming as multicultural as ever, and that's wonderful news. Very quickly, I want to say that Africa is the origin of human life. Africa is where actually human life is started. The first human-like creature came out in Africa 3.7 million years ago, sometimes known as Lucy in Ethiopia. Others expanded from Africa and went all over the world. Migration is to Europe, to Asia, to the Americas, everywhere. Everything, as we know, and these are facts, came from Africa. Therefore, Africa is also the beginning or the place where human diversity started and flourished. Therefore, I think all of us are, I don't know what you have called yourself before tonight, but let me qualify you as Abdi. All of you, everybody. And please don't allow anyone else to convince you otherwise. In fact, we are so similar as human beings that Michael Cook, in his book, The Human Race, talks about actually how it is from the point of, for example, the latest findings in molecular and cellular biology, that the species-based difference is so small. As for example, if I discriminate against somebody who's a human being, I am actually technically and automatically discriminating against myself. So we are all the same people. As Peter said, yeah, all of us cannot look alike. That wouldn't make sense, would it? It wouldn't even be nice. Sincerely. We would just look the same and not funny at all. We are going better by being the way we are.